Hey there, Media Mail Gang. It is Katie with Katie Reads, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I resell used books and ephemera on multiple platforms, and we talk about that here on this channel. Today, we have an exciting guest, and behind the scenes, I mentioned this, and I think I'm so excited about this guest because it is another Michigan reseller. I've had Ryan from Ohio. I've had friends from other states, but this is the first time that I have been able to interview another bookseller on top of that from Michigan. So it's really exciting for me. I'm really excited to have this person on. There's so much value that we are about to talk about, guys, especially I know so many of you follow me for my free book pickup and how I acquire inventory that way. And the value in this video, I think, is going to be really exciting. It's going to be an intro, but there's going to be a lot of value and nuggets in here for you guys too. So to just kind of segue, I'll let him introduce himself here in a minute. But I actually met Todd at one of his book sales a long time ago, and it's just kind of grown since then. Again, I'll let him introduce himself and kind of talk about what he does, but it's really exciting because Todd is like me, guys. He is a like-minded individual. He doesn't buy books. He's been able to grow a for-profit social enterprise for years. And we have some really cool tools that we think will add a lot of value to those of you that are like me and trying to do the same type of thing that I do. So I will let Todd, I'll make him big on the screen and let him introduce himself real quick and what he does and how he got started, and just kind of tell us kind of your elevator speech.
Nice. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on here. It's real nice. I like it. So I'm Todd Whalen. I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan is where I'm from. And I've been selling books and media on Amazon, eBay, all the other stuff. I've done it all really since 2008 is when I started. So November 17th was my 16-year anniversary of 2024. So I've been doing this for quite a while, and really what got me started in selling books is kind of like everyone else basically is necessity. Basically in 2008 I was a single dad. And I had, my little girl, and I'm like, man, I got to stay at home more. I got to be around her more. So what do I do? So I'm looking for home-based businesses, and so I'm asking around for people that I work with. I'm like, hey, what do you do for fun? And people are like, this one guy at work, I was working at Weber's restaurant, and he's a fellow server. He says, well, I sell books online for fun. And I'm like, that's fun. He's like, yeah, come on over. I'll show you all about it. So he did. He came over, and just like everyone's houses, it looks like this. You got bookshelves everywhere, and he's telling me, yeah, this is how you do it on Amazon. This is how you list. This is how you reprice. How you do everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, like, how do you get the books? And the number one thing that everyone says, he's like, you got to go to thrift stores. You got to go to estate sales. You got to go to all the places, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. That seems like a lot of work. Like, I'm not afraid to put in work, but like, I'm trying to be at home with my daughter, right? So basically at that point, I asked this question that really changed my life. And this is the question that the answer is what I've been telling everybody about here. The question is this, is how do the thrift stores, the estate sales, not necessarily those, but like library, all the reselling places, like how do they get their books? And the question or the answer is what got me. It's people give them to them.
Yes.
They're free. So basically I realized, I was like, well, here's the question. I said, well, how do I get people to give me their books rather than the thrift store or the library, and cut out the middleman? And so poof, that's when I was like, oh, I know how to do that. And it started right there. That was the idea. That now, just the same as you, Katie, I have the same exact mindset as you do, but my number one rule is I don't buy books.
Yes.
Don't buy it.
Yep.
And yet, because you realize that people will give them to you, all you have to do is ask. You just have to know how to ask.
Yes.
Hey, can I have your books?
Right.
And they'll give them to you,
Right.
Yeah. So that really is the idea of how this all started. And, since 2008, I haven't purchased any books. I don't do it. They give them to me.
Awesome. And you know, what a blessing to have a person come into your life and guide you with really no strings attached. I mean, I assume that they, you know, just helped you out of just kind of the kindness of their heart and just, you know, trying to put another friend on game. And that's awesome. And that's, I think, what a lot of reselling YouTube channels try to do is just help others through different ways. Not to say that knowledge doesn't have monetary value, because it does, but that very base information to get you started is just so valuable. And it's so great that you know, had someone pop into your life at the right time that you needed them to. But yeah, man, free books, you know. So those of you that watch my channel, I recently dropped a video and the title of it is I'm not buying any books in 2025. And I really didn't in 2024 either, but I feel like if I kind of document this journey throughout the year of 2025, it will be important for people to kind of understand how I do what I do and why I do it. Because really the key, and I'll let you chime in on this, you know, we'll get into it a little bit, Todd, but the key is volume, right? It's, oops, I made you big by accident.
Drinking the coffee.
My bad. The key is volume, and then that consistency, like consistently getting that volume week by week by week. And that can be hard when you're brand new, right? That can be hard. I've dropped different tips and tricks on my channel, you know, trying to put yourself out there, establish yourself. And Todd, you kind of have started a educational, I don't know, course, I guess you could call it, or, you know, guidance for folks. I don't know. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. That's you're right. The key is this. So like, if you have people who you go on Facebook Marketplace or you go on Nextdoor and you're like, hey, I'll pick up your books. People will give them to you, but you'll get like one here, you know, one there, one every so often. And they do happen. And maybe you get a good cluster of them every, you know, if you're if you're regular, obviously it works better. Because people, you know, obviously the post will go down in the feed. But the problem that you have is, how do I make a consistent income based on free books? Well, you have to have consistent flow of free books. And so that is when you have the mindset that you don't buy them. Now, instead of spending your time and energy and efforts to go to the thrift store, to go to the places that other people did, you redirect those efforts, and you redirect it. You're gonna pay for money, for gas. You spend your time. Those are all things you're gonna spend anyways. So now redirect that and say, hey, I'm going to do that to start my own. Basically, what I've been teaching people is a for-profit donation center. It's a for-profit social enterprise, and I'll tell you about like what the social part of that is later, why that works. But really, you're building a for-profit donation center is what that is. You're becoming the donation center. And that is what I've been teaching. So I created it's a training course. It's on a couple different platforms. I use School, School Community, SKOOL, for those that don't know about those. But and I'll show you, you know, some about that. But basically, it's 33 videos, 7 hours long, that teaches you how to start a for-profit donation center, how to advertise properly so that people will know about you, like on the consistent, the regular basis. And then going further, we haven't even talked about this part yet, but you mentioned that you showed up, we met each other at one of my book sales, but that's the social part. These book sales were you came to my house.
Yes, in your driveway. Yeah.
In my driveway.
Yes, in the driveway of your home. Yes.
That's right. So the trading course, Katie's seen the course, so she knows it. But like, basically, it teaches you how to become the donation center, then teaches you how to monetize your duds, not the ones you sell on Amazon, eBay, whatever. Take those out. Make your money. Cool. But then you're left with, as you know, especially if you're doing bulk or you're getting free books, you get a lot of books. And what do you do with the duds? Well, people, that's like, if you go on Facebook, you go anywhere, you can search that. What do I do with the duds? You'll get all sorts of different posts that people have asked that exact question. And that's what my training course teaches, is how to do it, because we've learned now that doing it at our home makes you easily $10,000 in a week. You do it a little bit later, grow it, making 15,000. Now we run our sale. It's grown, obviously, because people can come in. It's now a 3-time-a-year sale, 4 days each time. So it's only 12 days out of the year, and it makes over 6 figures net income. So it's like, it was like 115 grand at selling duds.
Yes, selling duds.
Yeah. That you got for free from the community because you have your donation center and you have the mindset, I don't buy them. So people are like, okay, I'm getting them.
Yes. And so, and 2 things I just want to add to what Todd just said. The school course. I have been doing free book pickups for 5 years. In May, it'll be 6 years that I've been doing it. I still, within the first 4 modules, found so many good nuggets. Like, oh my God, why didn't I think of this? Oh my God. I mean, a lot of it was marketing, and that's kind of the beginning of the first few modules. But I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? Or that's a really, really good idea. So being even a seasoned free book pickup person, there's still, and I'm not even done with the course yet, there's still so much value that I've been able to get from that. So especially those of you that follow me that are starting this and just started it because you watched some of my videos and you just, some of you, it's just been a crazy response that you've gotten. And a lot of you reached out to me, and it really means a lot that it's been able to change your life and your book business. Todd is kind of able to also, let you have a hand on the faucet, I guess. You can kind of control it, because a lot of you do reach out to me and you're like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, or, oh my God, I don't, so this is where Todd's course also kind of helps you, because it is something that you have to learn, and geography is really important in the mix of it too. But you do have to kind of be able to control this as well, and then have processes in place and things in place so you don't get overwhelmed and freaked out and you have 80 million books all over the place in your house. So Todd's course does help you with that. So I do want to put that plug in as well, because I know a lot of you reached out to me and you're like, okay, what do I do? I've got so much. And, what do I do with the duds? Todd talks over that. I've dropped a few videos on my channel, but Todd's value is really, really important too, because we do have to pivot and adjust to different things, and the more diverse ways that you're doing things. Again, no eggs in one basket, guys. I'm always going to preach that. So that's really, really important. And that's something that you're going to learn from this course. And from the social piece of things, I do want to add that at Todd's book sales, I talk about giving back to the community. I give Spanish books to our migrant workers that come here in Southeast Michigan. I work with our morning Rotary groups and fill up their free little libraries. I do my social pieces because I was already, I was a commercial banker for 12 years. I was already in the community. I was part of, community groups and different, social groups and volunteer groups. And that's just something that brings me joy. And I feel like I can add value with the books that I get for free. But at the same time, at his sales, he would offer discounts to teachers. They would be able to come in first and get first pick. Homeschoolers got discounts and got first pick. So even in ways where you're monetizing, there are ways to give back and add value to the social piece of that. And people remember that. And I guarantee you that, and you can maybe talk about that, Todd, it not only adds value to people, but they're going to come back. They're going to keep coming back, and they're going to reach out to you maybe even in between sales. Oh, yeah.
They sure do. I'm glad you brought that up. There's 2 things then that got me thinking with what you're saying. First of all, you talked about the faucet, that concept of what I said. Now, I've always called, I'll go into that a little bit deeper here, because I've always called what we do for getting books or free books as a giant book sourcing faucet. So this is basically a mechanism that if you want to, you can turn on the flow of just massive amounts of books that are coming in. And then when those come in, right, you think about a sink, it has to have a couple things. One, it'll overflow if the flow is too fast, right?
Yes. Yep.
And the drain isn't allowing, and the drain is Amazon, eBay, whatnot, Macari, whatever you're selling on. But the problem then is that it starts filling up with duds, right? And so you need to then adjust your faucet to turn down the flow. You're like, oh man, I can't process these as fast.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you all of a sudden you get, well, you're one video that where you had that one pickup with just all the
Yeah, I got
bags.
2,200 in one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fantastic. It was amazing, but it took 4 cars, it's just,
Your sink got filled real quick, right? The basin was like, oof.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man, what do I do with that? So that's where being able to turn down the incoming books without losing your credibility in the community to keep picking up books.
Right.
And then now the book sale is a major drain, not meaning like on us, but like as a way to let the books out.
Yes.
You have to have them flow. And so you go, oh man, I could, because everyone's looking, do you give them to a Goodwill? Do you give them to a library? Do you do like what you're saying, like the little free libraries or Rotary clubs, or you can do those, but they can only take so much as well.
Yes.
And then then their sink or their basin is full and they need to have it drain out before they can take more. So that's where the book sale really comes in, is because it allows you to have an unending flow of output that you're going to monetize. So it's huge, because then what you're doing is you're positioning yourself as what we call it is a low cost community book sale. And all of the books have been attained through our pickup service called, in this case, ours is Give My Books, right? That's our local one.
Right.
So we say, hey, JLC book sale presented by Give My Books. And so poof, now you put the pieces together and they're like, oh, that's where my books are going. And then the last part of this, which is part of the school community group that I or the course that I made, the final part is super important, is how to talk to the community so that they understand what you're doing and that they want to support you. Because I also go in the Facebook groups and you search there, people say, what do you tell people when you post on Facebook or next door, and you say, they go, what are you doing with the books? Have you had that issue?
People ask me that question all the time. And there's so many, I'm very word specific. I'm very careful with the words that I use and how I do it. I present it a very specific way, and I always present it as a solution to a problem, because that's what attracts, in my experience, people a lot more, is they have an issue and I have a solution, and I'm going to pick it off their porch. I mean, all they have to do is just put a boxer bag on the porch. So
easy peasy. And one thing that I've learned, and I really go into this deep in the course, and the course is free, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Awesome. Absolutely. Perfect.
You can just go take it. But the thing about it is, what was I saying? My brain failed me. You ever hate that? You have that brain fart? Oh man, that's pretty crazy.
Todd and I both got teenagers, and we're like, man, get it off.
So here it is. This is it. This is the thing that I will love for everybody to understand who's watching this. Okay. Books are a source of frustration to people.
Yeah.
They don't know how to get rid of them, but they love them. Everybody loves their books. Nobody wants to throw a book away.
You're right. That is a good point. Everybody says, I just don't want to see these in the trash. That is something that I hear so often. Yes, you're right.
So with that, then what you're really learning is our big book pickup service, what we're doing is a solution to their problem. They go, man, and this is common everywhere. People, you post and say, hey, I'll pick up books. People say, donate them to the library, donate them here. And the response that I will give, and I've done this on Facebook too, and people from all over the country have chimed in where they say, I tried, but the library was full, or it wasn't accepting donations, or XYZ, right? And then they go, and then they would only take these books, not these books. They would only take, and so then what they have is they made the effort to go to the library. The library looks through their stuff and goes, I'll take this box. Well, now they have 2 more boxes that they have to get rid of. And they're like, what do I do with these? So now they have to drive to Goodwill. Goodwill says, we're not taking donations today. We're closed, too full. Crap. Now I got to go over to Salvation Army or whoever, it doesn't matter. But then they have to keep going. Whereas us, we say, put all of your books out on the front porch by 8 a.m. And I'll come by between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to pick them up.
Yeah.
Well, what? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Boom. The solution, the problem is solved, and they love us for it. And they're like, man, Todd's book pickup service, Katie's book pickup service is great. And then what do? They tell other people.
Yes.
Yeah. That's key.
And I've even added the little bit of, and we keep it out of landfills. We'll come and pick it up and we keep them out of landfills. And that little bit just kind of is like the final, like, okay, so they feel like they're doing a good deed too. You know what I mean? So they're getting the good feeling of it. Yeah. I'm finding a solution to their problem. So there's a little bit of a psychology there, guys, in my experience. The wording is very, very important. And how you kind of present it. And then just remembering that closed mouths don't get fed. You have to talk to people. You have to be comfortable having conversations. You have to, I'm an introvert, but, you flex when you need to. And I flex for my business and I do what I need to do for that. So, yeah, that's such an awesome piece. And so the next thing that usually pops up in my videos whenever I talk about a free book pickup is, where are you getting the books? How, the question of, how do I talk to people? How do I advertise? Whatever, the low-hanging fruit of like Facebook and all of that. But to get really strategic and to do this on a consistent volume every single week, me personally, I do my weekly goals of my pickups every single week, because I see it. Like, think about if I was a thrifter, right? I'd be going to Goodwill how many times a week and trying to get potential profit of how much every time I go. And sometimes it's not going to happen at one thrift store. I'm going to have to go to 3 or 4 thrift stores for the day to get what I want to get, a potential profit of $150 every time that I go, so many times a week. So that's kind of how I gauge it. I would be trying to hit up the thrift store this many times, or the bins, or wherever you guys go to thrift. I'd be wanting to do that so many times a week. So I want to make sure that I'm getting these many pickups minimum a week and these many books, because based on my funnels, which is primarily Amazon, FBA, and eBay, based on my funnels, I need to have an acceptance rate of this amount every single week. I mean, I really, really break it down, and you have to when you want to do this full time. So with that comes the tools that I feel Todd has that is going to totally change the game when it comes to free book pickups. And I'll let you take over now, Todd, with that, but it's just insane. This is a tool that free book pickup people have needed for years. If I would have had this in the beginning, I probably would have quit my 9-to-5 job as an assistant vice president of commercial banking a long time ago. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, I left a nice job. I left a nonprofit job to do this. And so I don't want to keep blabbing too much, but I'll let Todd kind of talk about, this tool that he has, because it's just amazing. I am so blown away at the technology that he's been able to establish with this. So I'll let you talk about it, Todd. I'll shut up.
That's awesome. No, that's really cool. I'm glad you think so highly of it. I do too.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
No, it is pretty. It's pretty stinking sweet. I got to tell you, that's just how I would describe this thing. And here's what it is. I'll do a screen share in just a moment, but I'll describe it this way if I could. So what I built software basically, and not just that, but it's bigger than just software. It's bigger than just like, hey, here's, this to help us scan through Amazon to find deals, and those are great because everyone uses them, right? We have listing software, we have all the different
Yes. Mhm.
stuff
Yeah,
that we use,
and
right?
it's tools that you do need. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. But in this case here, this is another one of those tools that are just essential. And so what I've done is I created a nationwide book and media pickup service. That's
Amazing.
what this is. I think so too. And so I'll describe it like this. When Uber first started, right? Uber came in as this technology that disrupted the flow of how transportation normally worked.
Right.
Everyone went to buses or taxi cabs. They would call up the cab. There was no app on your phone that said, hey, come give me a driver right now,
Mhm.
on demand.
Sure.
So Uber came in as a disruptive technology to the way transportation normally flowed. What I have built then is based on my personal experience of how we've been doing this for 16 years now, is the technology that I've built it's disrupting the flow of where books normally go. And
Yes.
I'll put it to you
Mhm.
like this. Normally books go from where? A private donator, a private donation, right? Somebody's house, they have to move. Like, I got all these books back here. You got books on your shelf, right? I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta move. What do you do?
Mhm.
You got to take them, box them up, and then you go to the library, the thrift store. And if you think about it, what does the thrift store do nowadays with those books? Do they just put them all out for booksellers to come?
No, they're
No,
they're doing what we're doing.
they're doing exactly what we're doing. So they're getting the first shot at the untouched, unscanned, private
Yes.
donations, really good books where they're like, oh man. Then they put out the rest for the cherry pickers to come, and we scan through them, right? And we're like, oh man, I found this, and you're happy with that because they leave enough of them for people
To make
to.
you come back again on Tuesday or half off day or whatever.
That's
Yeah.
it. So that's the normal flow. And
Yep.
then we get what's left over. And and they also are monetizing the duds with the regular readers who are coming, and they're selling them for $2 or $4 a
Yeah.
book.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right? Now, what's happening is based on the Give My Books network, based on how this is going, the way it works then is I'll even show you people. This here is, let me find the right one. This here. So this screen here, can you see the screen, Katie?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. So the way it normally worked before was, let's move that out. Now the books come from private donators, private donations to the bookseller first. We go pick them up from their house, and then we take the ones we want out first, and then we give the rest to Goodwill or a library or our little free libraries or anywhere else we want to take them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. So notice here, Give My Books network. This here is what a client, a person who wants to give their books will see. They come here and says, enter your zip code to schedule your pickup. Easy peasy. Tells them 6 steps to a successful book pickup. Tells them exactly how it's going to happen. You just schedule them, put them in boxes, put them on the front porch, and we'll come pick them up. When you're done, give us a review. They know this. They love it. These are actual reviews that we've gotten from our Google business page, from our local service, is what you see here, right? And then furthermore, at the bottom, you'll notice this isn't just for books. I'd like to
Yes.
make mention of this. This is CDs,
Yes.
DVDs, software, video games, puzzles, board games, audiobooks. And then some people still take VHS, cassettes, vinyl records, or
Me. Yep.
encyclopedias.
I'm one of those people. Yep. Horror VHSs all the time. Still selling. Selling so great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what this is then is people can put in their zip code. I'll show you. We'll put in my zip code here in Ann Arbor is 48108, and you check availability. Poof. Step 1, select your partner. Notice this is
Mhm.
our local one called Give My Books. But what you'll find is there's one showing up here now, but anybody can join the network and say, hey, I want to pick up in those zip codes.
Yes.
I
Yes.
want to pick up in the area around me. And then their name, your name, shows up here
Your
as
business.
one of the
Yep.
options, right? And it says, when you pick up, when you for drop off instructions, and what type of stuff that you do. You say, hey, do you want to do pickup or drop off? Let's do pickup. Just showing here, the person comes through and they schedule their book pickup
Wow.
right here through this website. And then poof, this will actually, then it goes into the back end of the partner that you'll see here. There were recent pickups. I did these as tests, but you see here, Todd Whalen, poof. I had books to pick up. I scheduled books will be in the garage. This goes to the partner, and then you have a list of all these books that these pickups that you're going to have. And these are the tools that I've built in order for you to, oh, I'm coming back here. My bad.
There we go.
These are the tools for, there you go. You got to get that one.
And I think,
but these are the tools that are built for this. Yep.
I think it's so okay. The tool period, being able to join Give My Books network with my business name, my info, not having to create my own website, being able to use this link and just have that resource right there, is so amazing. As someone that's doing free book pickups, the fact that I can designate, is it pickup or drop off? The fact that it's going to send them email reminders of the pickup. Like, there's just so much added value from my perspective. Then you've got the data, and the data is so important. And I preach this over and over and over again, because what so many people are doing is they're trying to copy and paste my method, and I'm happy for them and I want it to work for them, but they're doing it the wrong way. You're not keeping track of the acceptance rate per pickup. You're not keeping track of, like, was this a good pickup or not? What was their address? What, like, in mileage alone, you should be hanging on to for taxes. So like, just all of that, they're not doing that data. And then they're not documenting, how do I maintain this relationship with this pickup? Because it was very good. And they're a retired college professor. So how do I keep, this pickup and this relationship going? And so it's just data with that also that I see some people doing wrong. So the fact that this already is collecting that data for me is absolutely amazing, because then that is just something that further on I can hang on to. I mean, again, I do this full time, so I dive into it very seriously. If you do this part time, maybe that data isn't as important to you, but if you want to consistently be getting books, you have to track it somehow. I mean, you have to track it somehow, and things that aren't tracked are, you don't know what your numbers are until you know what your numbers are. So, you're kind of all over the place, and you're going to feel like a chicken with your head cut off a little bit. So.
Sure thing. Speaking of data, can I show some data points here about some tests? We'll go back to this. I'm going to show this right here. This is our missed pickups tool. So when you go to become a partner or join the network, so you can click on the button up here that says, hey, join the network. You'll end up coming to this page right here. Now, what I want to show here is collecting data is something that's helpful for us to show how this actually works, right? So when you come in here to this missed pickups tool, I'm going to show a few of these. This one here is Minneapolis that I just put in. Minneapolis. So 55401 is the zip code, with a 50-mile radius in 90 days. Now, I did 90 days just so everyone knows, because I ran the test here from October 1st to October 31st. And these pickups that you see, these 151, there's actually tons more, but that we're moving forward past that. But as far as the date range here,
Right.
The 151 donation pickups were requested. This was actually within about 2 weeks. That it was not a full month that we got these. And I'll show you the next one here. I'll do one that I really like. It's in New York. So in New York, you can see, hey, 50 miles in the past 90 days. There were 590 donation pickups requested within 50 miles of New York City. And this is the same thing that will show over and over and over. I know my map is slow because there we are. But notice this.
Wow.
Every one of these red dots, and some of them have numbers like 3, 1, 5. So here's the number of different zip pickups that have been requested in each of these zip codes, and then the map will show you just how many so there's only one little dot per zip code, but it'll show like this one here. There's been 4 pickup requests. This one here,
200. It's 224. I was gonna say, geez, just
yeah,
what area is true? Dang.
Yeah, but see, this is all over the country. So this is New York. I have a few test ones. Let's do Dallas, 75201. So we'll show these.
And again, where I do talk about geography mattering, even if you're not in these areas, as this network grows, you're going to start seeing the data of people wanting to do pickups. And the more that you share out this network that you signed up for and encourage people to use that, again, this website is going to document the requests for pickups, the requests for data, like how often people are searching. So it's going to grow really exponentially. I think personally, because it's so convenient for people to just go on a website, type in their zip code, pick a business and do it.
That's exactly it. Yep, they will. And so this here shows, this was Dallas. Let me show you. Obviously you have these few dots. I'm going to go ahead and go into this, back end here on the dashboard, and I'm going to show everyone, I'll show you and everyone a report. So this is our partner not found report, meaning we just launched this, right?
Yeah.
So all of this data that you see of those red dots, there was nobody to pick up those books. So that's where, being that this just launched, anybody who starts to join the network and says in their local area, hey, I'm going to pick up in 10, 20, 30, 50 miles around where I live, now all of these missed book pickups you'll be able to get for you. So I'll show you here. This is October 1st to October 31st. I'm going to go ahead and show that down here we had 4,077 pickup requests that came through. People put in their zip code on that homepage 4,077 times, looking for somebody to pick up their books. But there were no partners at that time. But that's why we're out here saying, hey, join the network, schedule your own, configure your own zip code. You have your zip code management, where you're able to say, hey, I want to pick up books in a certain area, it's easily to be selected. And then poof, you're like, man, I pick up in 75 zip codes all around my area. And then anytime somebody puts their zip code in that zip code checker and you're saying you'll pick up in it, poof, your name pops up and you get that request potentially, especially if there's a lot of other people picking up, then it just grows and grows.
Yeah. And then I know, Google is the new everything for people. So even when people type in the search bar of Google, where can I give my books? That keyword right there, give my books, is going to, I would imagine, based on how I think SEO works, the website's going to pop up as one of those options because they're using those keywords. And so, there you go. And they're going to find the website that way. And so even if, it isn't directly through the website, they're going to find it through search engines and other things. So I just think this tool is long overdue. I think it's absolutely brilliant. This is coming from your 16 years. This is coming from my, small little 6 years of doing this just in my, small local area. But you learn a lot, and there's definitely pain points. And I think that from a free book pickup standpoint, you have totally tackled all the pain points that come up with this. I mean, just having everything ready to go like that with the pickup is just wonderful because, right now, I've, for a very long time, it's been through text or phone call or Facebook messages, and then you're going back and forth, and then I got to put it in my calendar and make sure I don't forget, and then I have to manually remind them and make sure that they put it out there, because I don't know how many times where I don't remind people, I show up at their house and nothing's out there and they're already at work and whatever. So it's all that stuff. You just hit a lot of really, really good pain points. So guys, again, I don't blow smoke when it comes to showing things that I think are going to add value for you and tools that I myself am going to be using. So I am going to have some links in the description of this video. Check it out. I think we're going to have the Give My Book site. We're going to have, I'd like to share the mastery course because I think that will be an insane value for people. And, you know, just Todd in general, I'll kind of share the JLC book sale as well, because if you're in the Michigan area, if you're in our area and you want to check it out, and just, I think it's important to check it out because I can get a better idea from something if I'm there and seeing how it operates, because then you can kind of take those notes and just kind of see how things work. And also, you know, it's just a good tool that sometimes, like maybe you're a whatnot seller and fiction does really, really well for you, but on eBay and Amazon, it's kind of a dime a dozen and not as profitable. Maybe going to a sale like his and picking up a bunch of sci-fi to flip on whatnot will work for you. You know, it's just, there's a lot of different things that can come from it. And I say that as an example because I've done that once before at one of Todd's sales. I've gone and picked up, you know, supported him, got a bunch of sci-fi, you know, and
we get tons of sci-fi, man.
Flipped it on whatnot. You know, that was when sci-fi started getting pretty popular on whatnot, and I had a really good show, you know. So there's options with that too. So I think that this tool is just, I can't rave about it enough because it's something that I just feel like we have needed for so long. And it's like, when you finally see it, it's like, oh my God, that is what I needed. That is exactly what I needed. That's how I need people to find me, because not everybody's on Facebook, and it's hard promoting your own website and getting on Google Business and all of that. Like, it's really nice having some way. I mean, word of mouth business cards are always going to be my bread and butter. I live in a small town. That's just how it's going to work for me. But I think having this network is just going to be so huge because it's going to help people outside of my area find me as well.
That's exactly it. And that's the idea too, Katie, is when somebody in my local area hears about it, the way it's designed is we send out reminders, or we have their email address, and we say, hey, could you share this on Facebook? Do you know any friends that could use this? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to ask people to recommend you, but what ends up happening is somebody in, say, Ann Arbor, or, you know, whatever, when I have a book pickup, well, you go on Facebook, we're all connected with people in Dallas and Florida, and Florida's not up here, but Florida and Florida up there. But you know what I'm saying? We're all connected. Yeah. So basically what ends up happening is, because it's a nationwide network, any pickup in the nation is going to be a recommendation for people in other parts of the nation. That's so as it grows. I'll give for instance, we were doing about 200 pickups per month on the regular. It's 50 a week.
Yeah, I see it.
That gets you over 500,000 books a year. Easily. So, you know, 10 pickups generally is about a Gaylord. It's a minivan full. It's about a Gaylord or two, depending on how you stack it in there. Yeah. So if everybody is in my local area, if I have 200 pickups in 1 month, right? And then we have 50 states. So then you have, you know, times 50. So you're talking about 10,000 pickups per month with just one person in every state. Well, get 10 people in every state. You're talking about 100,000 book pickups, free books for anybody who joins. 100,000 pickups. And now every one of those 100,000 people, they tell 3 people. Yes. They recommend it to their followers, and they have an average of 112 people on their Facebook account. Poof, now you're talking 100,000 a month. Now you're talking 200, 400 exponential, where you can easily have 1 million book pickup requests. And it's so per month just in the United States.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many books, guys. There's so many books out there. It's so plentiful, and the potential is just crazy. So
yeah.
I
here's my one thought on that. I'll tell everybody, I don't care anyone's religious background, right? But in the Bible, if you go look up one scripture, it's Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12. And this is job security for everybody who sells books. That is the scripture for do you know what it says?
No, I don't know. My heart.
It says, to the making of many books there is no end. Like literally, that's what it says. And I'm like, ooh, that's job security. I was like,
That
yes, that's
is job security written in stone right there, right
right.
there.
I was like, well, and it's true. And if you look around,
Oh
that
yeah.
statement is true. So it's like, okay. So that's been my motto, that there is no such thing as competition. It's just a matter of who
Yes.
gets the books when, because they
Oh,
always
I love
circulate.
that. I love
That's
that
it.
because the scarcity mindset can really get a hold of people really quickly.
Mhm.
And it's I cannot stay away from that. I can't emphasize that enough because there's just so much potential. And really what's meant for you is already yours anyways. So it's just, a matter of when it comes to you. So yeah,
Nice.
I guys, I just, again, it's just so exciting having someone here locally in Michigan with the same, the awesome tools. I really love promoting people that add value for booksellers, but booksellers that are free book pickup people on top of that, and their local was just like the cherry on top. I really, really trust Todd. He is, he's made a great name for himself in the book community, especially with his sales. So I just really cannot emphasize enough how much that this is going to be worth your time. Taking his course, just feel it out. See if this is for you. Join the network. I mean, it is just the potential for it growing, especially because it is, in the beginning stages. Your name popping up first could be the only option in your area for a while until people join it. It's just really important to kind of, I think, get on board now versus later. And it's going to pay for itself, just like everything else. Your repricers and your listing services and your eBay store shop subscriptions and all the things, they all pay for themselves. And this is just another tool that's going to pay for itself. So I'm really excited for you, Todd, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I will be dropping more videos about this network, guys. Today was really more just about an intro, but I will be dropping more videos, kind of like a deep dive. I may do a recording as I set up my business account on the network, so you can just kind of see like what it looks like, and kind of like the step-by-step process. So you guys can kind of get an idea of that, and we'll kind of document the process and what it looks like and how it works out for me. And yeah, we'll just go from there. And we'll bring Todd on again. We'll bring him on again. We'll talk about book selling stuff. We'll pick his mind a little bit more. I love picking other
I
booksellers'
love talking
minds
about book stuff.
and tips and
Yes.
tricks. And we'll talk about how he grew, his book selling as well, his actual book sales and what that kind of looks like. And we'll talk about that too in future videos. So any last words, Todd? Any other things that you'd like to throw out there? Is there any social media you want them to follow you at? We haven't talked about that yet. If you're on any social media stuff.
Yep. Actually, so one of the best things that anyone can do, I'll share my screen here just so people
Okay.
see. Um, this here is our school community for book sourcing
Perfect.
mastery. This is the one. I know Katie's going to put a link to this one probably in the description
Yes.
or the comments there. But this one's really awesome. When you come here, you're going to come to the About page, which is it's a 12-minute video that explains everything that I'm doing with the book sourcing mastery, how we get tons of books like this. We
Man, I
even get
feel
our own
that.
page. You like that one? That's what your car looks
That
like.
picture. I feel that one.
Yep. And then this one here is these book sales that Katie's talking about that you
Mhm.
see is in my front yard. My driveway's right there to the right. But these things make tons of money. And I'll show you just this picture is the net sales of $114,000 that came. This is 2024 numbers. So
Yeah.
these are like just our last three sales of the year. We only do three. A year. And so another one's coming up, in March, and they're just going to be awesome. So this video really does explain all of what this is about, how it can help you, and join. It's free to join, and you'll be able to watch a whole bunch of good stuff that'll help you. So this is super important. You can find us at we're doing book sourcing mastery. We have Give My Books Network as far as handles for different social media things.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so you can find us really at those, and I'm sure we can do an in the description so people can find
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
And
And
over
again,
time, as I
guys,
keep coming back, we'll do it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, guys. And I'll throw some links in the description of this video. But this is pretty much what we have for you today. I just feel like, and I kind of alluded to this in my video talking about how I wasn't going to buy any books in 2025 because I knew I was going to have Todd on the channel soon. It was just a matter of when. So I kind of alluded to that in that video. So go and watch that video too. But I really want to change the mindset of the book selling world. So many people, I know things matter. Okay. I know that you have to, physically be able to do this. I know you have to have the space, time, and energy to do this. I know that there are different things that work for different lifestyles. So I definitely respect that. But as a whole, I'm always going to push this because it has been so successful for me. And just in talking about it in my content, it's been really successful for other people. And I really just think that now is the time to talk about it more on my channel and really put it out there for people, because I think that the ways of, I'm just going to say it, I think the ways of getting books and sourcing in the past has changed so much since the pandemic. And it's because thrift stores are kind of turning into what we're doing. And I just think that we need to start staying away from the downstream stuff and start getting the upstream stuff. And the upstream stuff, in my opinion, is your free book pickups and your direct connections with people who have collections and your libraries. And I've talked about this. I've connected with many libraries that either don't have a Friends of the Library, so they don't do sales at all, or I get their withdrawals, which sell all day, every day on Amazon FBA. I mean, don't let X library scare you guys. Or I'm collaborating with libraries because they have so much and they don't have enough time to sort through everything. They're referring me to people that are calling them up about donating books. So it's just, don't discard the things that you think, well, a library isn't going to help me out because they're going to want to sell it themselves. Totally different structure and different ways of things. So you actually probably would be surprised. I'm hoping to get a librarian here on the channel, and we can kind of talk about that a little bit, because I think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to libraries and, different things like that, about, what they accept, what they don't accept, what they sell, what they don't sell, withdrawals, archiving books, like all of that type of stuff. I think there's some misconceptions there. And I think it's just so much more than just going to their book sales. I think if you make the right connections and add value to them, you would be surprised at, the free stuff that you can get from them as well. So guys, I'm so excited for this tool. I'm really excited to dive into it. There will be more videos coming up. Thank you, Todd, for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said in that video, that was my first video of 2025, guys. And this year, the channel is going to look different. We're going to talk about what I'm doing and how I think my approach is going to be a lot different than what other people are doing. This isn't to knock the people that do still thrift or cherry pick or purchase Gaylords. Those inventory sourcing methods, again, to each their own. Every business model is different. But I think we need to talk more about free books. I think it's a lost opportunity. And I think a lot of, I was a single parent too. Todd knows, we kind of talked about that a little bit too. I was a single parent at one time. People strapped with not having any capital. I know what it's like to be kind of stuck and feel like you don't have options, especially with acquiring inventory. And this, Todd's proof of it. I hope that I'll start being more proof of it on the channel if I haven't already kind of proved it. It is a great, great way to kind of get out of that rut if you're in a rut, or have this start being a full-time thing. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see this network grow. Guys, definitely tell others about this. Share it out. Share this video. We really, really want to grow this network, and I really want to see people succeed with it. I feel like it is just really, really exciting tool that, is just going to this is going to be a game changer. It is absolutely going to be a game changer. So I'm so excited. Thank you, Todd, for reaching out to me and doing this video and letting me introduce you to everybody. And guys, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions for Todd, let me know in the comments too. And we can kind of hang on to those questions and maybe do another video. And like I said, I am going to do some deep dive videos of the Give My Books network as I kind of start using it more and sign up for it. I'll do some videos of that too, with Todd's blessing, of course. I'll make sure he'll have to like whatever I put out there. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.